Hello everyone, my name is Mackenzie, my partner for this assignment is Emily, and this is our thesis capstone to pitch. The game idea that we came up with is called Tubby's Trash Can Feast, and your goal is to help this pudgy little fellow break into the dumpster behind the fancy restaurant so he can eat the most delicious trash there is. The mechanics that we came up with for Tubby's Trash Can Feast are a belly flop mechanic and a vomit mechanic. So the raccoon can already jump around and such, but if while jumping the player holds down shift, it activates an AoE trigger which will delete anything that has the destructible train tag. So it's like he's destroying it by belly flopping on it. So this can be used for obstacles and such, so fences, planks, crates. You get the idea of the type of thing that would be blocking an alleyway. So the way that this mechanic scales up in-game is the more food that Tubby eats, the bigger he gets. And the bigger he gets, the stronger that belly flop mechanic is. Now you can see in the upper left-hand corner that there's a little score counter. Now that counts how much food the raccoon has eaten. So let's say there should be a few different size classifications. So as the belly flop scales up and gets more powerful, let's say after eating 3 pieces of food, his size would no longer be classified as small. He would now be medium, and being medium allows him to break things that he would be unable to break as small. Now, the vomit mechanic is kind of interesting. After 3 seconds from eating yucky tasting food, you'll start vomiting, and I think I have the vomit for it lasts 3 seconds. You can also see in the upper left-hand corner, the food has gone down, so this allows the player to change back to a small size if they so desire. So if there's like a little area that you need to be tiny to get through, you would want to find that bad food and eat it. The vomit can also be used to scare away humans that are trying to shoo you away from eating all the garbage. But at the end of the day, you just want to become a really big fat raccoon so you can jump on a dumpster and eat all of that delicious Italian food.
Here we'll be going over some analysis points about our game, Tubby's Trash Can Feast. It was a bit difficult to find games to compare with similar mechanics. However, we definitely recognize the similarities to Slime Buddy from last term. We wanted to make sure ours was unique in that aspect, so that's why we have a lot more focus on consuming to grow in size. Some other successful games with similar mechanics based around consuming to grow are the Egger.io game and Carry On. In Carry On, you play a reverse horror role as the monster trying to grow bigger and bigger. Our audience focus would be a young audience, and our strengths include the satisfaction of consuming to get stronger, plus being able to tell a lighthearted, fun story with the concept. Here's an example of a possible level design. As you can see throughout, there's different food scattered, bad food, nearby enemies that Tubby could eat to kind of scare the enemies away, breakable areas, and there's also a UI bar which indicates how much Tubby would need to eat before he can destroy a more large-scale container, for example going up from garbage bags to garbage cans and eventually the large dumpster, which would be the end goal. This slide is to showcase some concept art for our main character Tubby. It shows him scaling up in size and also his chubbiness as he eats more food. He starts out looking pretty frail, and he may scale down to this size after using the vomit mechanic as well. In the final transformation, he's just super big and chunky. The art style that we imagined for this game is a simplistic, low poly, and geometric kind of style, which would be similar to something like Untitled Goose Game, for example. Lastly, we wanted to include a development timeline to help keep the Tubby's Trash Can Feast project on track. This shows that the first major milestones are setting up a testing level to start finding the mechanics for the vertical slice. There's also some icons along the bar there indicating a frequency of playtesting, even if it's just on a small scale, to ensure that the mechanics are working and remain fun, which we think will really help along the pipeline. And then along that as well, some other due dates are included in there all the way up till the final product is due. So in conclusion, thank you for listening to our presentation. We think that Tubby's Trash Can Feast could be a really fun idea and that it's within scope. If you guys have any questions about it, please feel free to ask.